Okay, so here's a public service announcement you'll definitely want to hear. Stay with me at least a minute or two, please. So right now, first week of September, first week of school, first week of the fall market, and honestly, it's so frustrating it's happening again. So many of the talking heads out there on YouTube, other social media sites as well, with all the wrong opinions about the GTA housing market. Seriously, this morning, I have already heard some are saying not to buy unless you have to. Don't do it unless you absolutely have to. Don't you get in there. It's crazy. And some are saying, oh, a crash is coming. You should just hold off on that. And so here's the thing. Here's something you should ask if you're listening to any of this at all, and I know they get a lot more views than I do. So this is important. Ask this question. How many of these talking heads actually back up anything they're saying with actual, updated, in context numbers? In reality, very few, very few. Quite often, they're important, they're special, they're experts, and people listen to them. But let me tell you why they listen to them. And this is actually kind of interesting. It's Psychology 101, really quick. So buying, purchasing a home is a major life decision. And making major life decisions is hard. We all know that, nothing new. They're anxiety-inducing, you become nervous, makes you feel uncomfortable. It's a big, major decision. And if somebody comes along that looks official and says, wait, making a major life decision? No, hold off on that. Don't do that now. Do it later. For a lot of people, that's very comforting. It's coming from a major source. They don't need the extra information. They don't need backup data. No. Thank you for telling me that. I'm just going to hold off. It's comfortable. It makes things easy, and we can procrastinate and kick the can down the road till a later time. So, guys, don't fall for that. Don't fall for anything I'm saying unless I'm backing up with information. So, opinions, forget it. As always, guys, Andrew the Realtor, beautiful people, welcome to the September 2025 GTA housing market update. I said the essential because I actually back up information. I want you guys to make the decision. You tell me whether it's a good time to get into the market or not after I show you what's going on in context without trying to prove a point. I have no axe to grind in this matter. So let me minimize myself a little bit here. So real quick, what are we going to do this month? Actual numbers, actual market numbers, current market numbers. Obviously, we have August numbers, but you'll get a feel for where we're at. Very important historical context. I'm going to really belabor a specific point that I want you guys to stick on because I want people sincerely to make a good decision. I'll make sales anyway. There are sales out there, I promise you. However, I want you guys to make the right decision. So important historical context, what buyers need to know right now. Right now in September, first week of September, very important. The fall market's about to start, kind of already started. What you need to know, and sellers, what you absolutely have to do. And it's going to be very similar to last month, full disclosure, but you need to hear it. So guys, as always, providing valuable information about the local housing market. That's it. That's all I do. That's my QR code to my little real estate experience. If on YouTube, hit like and subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment. You got questions? You disagree with me on something? Leave a comment. I very rarely get comments. It's just views, and I can see how long and everything people are watching. Of course, any questions, down below is going to be my little Calendly link. Guys, 15 minutes. Even if you don't want to talk to me, just write your question and then I'll email you the answer if you want, okay? So little link, click on that to have a chat with me. I always make it worth your while. I promise. I know my market. I'll show you. I'll prove it. So here we go. These are the numbers for last month, which tells us pretty much where we're at right now in the first week of September 2025. So these are August numbers. I'm not overly optimistic, nor am I going to lie to you. So I'm not going to tell you, oh, well, the sales right here are up 2.3%. Oh, that means the market's humming along. No. Honestly, it's kind of slow, very mediocre for months now. And more than likely, it's going to be like this, maybe slightly faster, slightly more active till the end of the year. So I'm not going to, I'm not painting roses where they need not be. Now, price, very important, year-over-year price. So August, last month versus August of 2024. Notice the difference here. It's a difference of about 5% on average. Some places more, some places less. Some types of properties more, some types of properties less. Here's the point. At no point in time is 5% a market crash. Sweet heavens. And that has been the case. You'll notice month after month. Last month, I was giving you very similar numbers. The month before that, I was giving you very similar numbers in terms of difference from last year. So on average, the past few months, most of this year, whatever the month is, they're about 4 or 5, slightly over 5% lower than average price the year before. Not a huge drop. Nothing too crazy. It seems like the prices are pretty much maintaining. I'm going to give you a graph on that shortly. But here's the biggie things that really need to consider, especially if you're actually holding off buying for some weird reason. So new listings and active listings. New listings are new properties that came onto the market during the month of August. Active listings are what's actually available currently, and certainly in the month of August. New listings were up. So people are not hesitating. Sellers are still hitting the market for lots of different reasons. And a lot of them are not desperate, by the way. Don't fall for that trap. I can explain that also. And active listings are significantly higher than August of 2024. So right off the bat, Sales are up a little bit, or at least they're about average. Okay, they're not great, but they're selling. Things are selling. Average price is down just a little bit. There are a lot of new listings on the market, more so than this time last year, and there are more active listings on the market, which if we had not had last year, this would be a record. So very high inventory, higher than even this time last year. Very interesting. Property days on market is the property, not just the listing. Listings get relisted. Keep that in mind. That's why I always circle this one right here. Never mind this. Ignore that. This right here. Well over a month. It's a month and a half, basically, on the market. So on average, a property sits on the market 1.5 months prior to it being sold. So that's a big deal. That's a very long time, certainly long for the GTA. So you got new inventory, lots of it. Active inventory, lots. Price is not really down too much, kind of maintaining, but soft, certainly not up. And then you've got those properties sitting in the market for a month and a half. Does that at all sound like opportunity? I think it does sound like a lot like opportunity. Let me get further into it. So obviously these numbers, you can pause this, take a look at the detached are down a little more than 70s. This is an average, depends on the area and that kind of thing, but this is important to note. So a lot of downs, obviously down 5% across the board, so you're gonna have a lot of negatives. Month over month, I didn't circle anything because it's actually quite normal from a July to an August. August tends to be a little bit slower than July. It wasn't sales. It's very normal. I know it's red because it's down, but in general, that's not a bad thing at all. Average price is down 2%. Again, that's on average, that's nothing. 2% in the GTA with hundreds of thousands of homes and such, it's not an issue. New listings, active listings, all the same. New listings are always going to be a little bit lower. Active listings are always going to be a little bit lower. The inventory goes down towards the end of August and starts to pick up in September, where we are right now. So those are the numbers. So overall, nothing crazy. The big thing is very high inventory and prices are down a little bit. Okay? Those are the things to keep in mind. Let me give you some really interesting historical stuff here. Okay, so look, this is sales volume. So I've already established that it possibly is a really good time. So some of those talking heads, maybe you shouldn't listen to. Here's some very interesting numbers. This is sales volume. This is how many sales are happening. And again, sales are happening. They're not busy. It'll probably be the slowest year in a while at the end of the year, honestly. But things are still happening. Over 5,000 sales, probably more than the number listed because some things are sold conditional. I digress. So this is 2025. I went back 10 years. So you got 10 years of history right here. This line right here is where 2015 is in terms of sales. This right here is where we are right now, in 2025. So sales volume is way down. So keep in mind, in general, sales volume right now is down. So yes, activity is significantly down. You can ask a seller. So things are selling, but not great. Okay, first thing you really need to notice is things are selling, but they're not great. Sales are down. Less competition. Buyers, less competition. A lot less competition. Here, we got active listings. This is inventory. So you get less competition from the previous slide. Now look at this slide. I'm building a case here for you guys. Make this really easy to back up what I'm saying so I'm not crazy. I'm not some fool. I'm not just sell, sell, sell. No, listen. Active listings, actual inventory historically. 2015, way down here. Yes, it was higher back in the 17 over to 18. Right in here is a little bit higher. But this is the active inventory. Do you notice the difference? Holy cow. So this is 25 in here. And this is what 2015 was, generally speaking, because we started here. I want to make the drastic comparison in 10 years. In inventory, this isn't price. This is inventory. So you got lower sales, significantly higher inventory. Okay, two things very beneficial for a buyer. Moving forward. Now this, the third one. Average sales price. This is important. What are the prices, Andrew? It's a GTA. I've mentioned many times, if you watch these programs on a monthly basis, thank you so much if you do. Honestly, I try to make this really worth your while. You'll notice that the market is very resilient. Check here. So 2015, we're down here, average price. Obviously, it's going to be higher in 10 years. That's a given. That's no surprise there. But this is the peak. Right here, this is the peak. This is where 2022 was. The very peak we haven't reached it yet. And here's where we are. Is it going to keep plummeting down? Well, it hasn't plummeted at all. In fact, after the correction of 22, it's been pretty steady, sometimes down maybe a little bit. Even if it maintains at this rate, it's going to be such a small drop for such a long time that unless you're going to wait 4 or 5 years, and that's if this is going to continue, which it isn't. I promise you it isn't. But nonetheless, even if it did continue, you can wait 4 or 5 years to save what? Another 5-10%? What about inflation, cost of things and everything? Well, your mortgage is going to be a little bit less. You don't know what the rates are going to be. You have no idea how much bread and peanut butter is going to cost at that time. Coffee's up a lot, by the way. Here's my point. Low sales, low competition. Incredibly high inventory. You got so much to choose from. And price is kind of where it's supposed to be. I know it's too high. It's supposed to be not according to affordability, all these words that people like to use that they never define. But this is way below the peak. And we have not got anywhere near the peak. We're in here right now. So we're going to be in this range for a while, probably for the next few months. Ask anybody who actually knows the market, like myself, who actually is in the market, knows what the market is doing, has no particular agenda whatsoever. I have sellers and buyers. I love both. I want both to succeed. So this is normal. So the price is not really changing. So whatever collapse or crash you're waiting for that people are mentioning, it's kind of already happened. If it's happened, condo market, for example, is having a difficult time, it's already happened. It's already there. Now is the time of great, immense opportunity. So, by the way, a little more, just a quick summary. So you got sales volume that's way down. You have no competition. Inventory is way up. So you have lots of options, which is what you wanted, by the way. Buyers, that's what buyers have always wanted. And prices have dropped after the peak and have been maintaining since that drop. So I don't know what magical thing is going to happen at this point after tariffs, international wars, all kinds of stuff happening, and the prices are still kind of normal. This is amazing. So whoever tells you, absolutely, unless you absolutely have to, don't buy now. That's the reality, guys. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what numbers they're looking at. I know the numbers because I'm part of them. Inflation, just so you know, inflation rates for Canada, this is July last month, August 19th. Today is August the 5th, so we're way ahead of that. We don't know what it's going to be. Probably somewhere around there. 1.7 in July, by the way, was a little bit under what they were anticipating. I think the estimate was supposed to be 1.8 or so, and it actually came in lower. So that's good. That's good. Inflation's good. We don't want high inflation. But this also means that the chance for interest rates to go down is higher. And of course, I always circle the highest it's been, at least certainly in my lifetime, I think. I could be wrong, but 2022, 8.1%. So regardless, in the recent history, we're way below whatever it was at its highest, and we're certainly on target. Oh, by the way, Global News, just this morning. Is it Global News? Globe and Mail. Forgive me. Globe and Mail. For those of you who don't subscribe, it's just the top. I'm not cutting on anything else. I'm not cutting them out. You know, they deserve their money. Market-based odds of Bank of Canada rate cut, which is happening shortly, in a week or two, this month of July. The chance of them is 90% after week jobs report. So that's now. Maybe something changes till then, but this is published on September 5th, the morning of September 5th, which is when I'm doing this video as well. So probably the rate's going to come down, probably another quarter to 2.5. Okay, maybe more. I don't know, but certainly probably 2.5. So we got inflation's decent, interest rate could come down, and then I give you those other three things that you really need to consider. So, like, sincere question: what does opportunity look like to you? You may want to pause this and just ask that question. What am I waiting for specifically? Because there could be something legit, and I've talked to people. There's sometimes legitimate reasons to wait. Fine, onward. Okay. I have to get this. Homeboy Warren Buffett. One of his best tips. Again, not trying. I don't have an axe to grind. I promise. I'm not trying to be over the top on this. But one of his best tips: be fearful when others are greedy. Be greedy when others are fearful. Where are buyers right now? Fearful. They're not buying. You see the sales numbers? Where should you be? Another one. If you wait for the robins, spring will be over. To paraphrase, it's tempting to wait until the perfect moment to invest. Everybody does that. Especially if you're worried about volatility in the horizon. Certainly the case now. This is old. This is an old information from Warren Buffett. Over a decade old. According to Buffett, waiting too long to buy can do more harm than good. He's talking about stocks, not talking about houses. Is there a difference right now? High inventory, low, scared competition. Notice the point. And soft prices. So what are you waiting for? If this was a stock, and I told you there's lots of availability, no one's buying it right now, and it's low. It's well below the peak. You would consider, would you not? You would at least think about it. It certainly wouldn't be in the first thing to say, oh no, that's crazy. I would never go into that. Don't do it unless you have to. Sellers, do not be discouraged, but be very realistic. Sales are happening. So buyers, give me a second. I'm going to talk to the sellers right now. If you're on the market or want to go on the market, listen, sales are happening, but you have to know what you're in for. You saw the days on market, month and a half, that's average. Your house may not be average, maybe a higher price bracket, maybe a quieter area, so you might be on the market much longer. You might not sell. Full disclosure, you may not sell. Nobody wants to hear, I'm a realtor, I get paid when I sell. It might not sell. If you decide to sell, if you're in this kind of market and you decide to sell, many have, there's many reasons to do that. You're not stupid, it's nothing crazy. There are sales. Plan carefully right from the start. Know the numbers. Know what the price should be. Know where you're buying. You may very well be buying in an area where prices are soft and there's lots of inventory. So actually, it'll be advantageous for you to sell and buy. You just have to be very realistic about the sell as realistic about the sale as you are about the buy in the current market. Know your numbers. Feel free to give me a shout. People do all the time. My contact information is always at the bottom. Just book the 50-minute thing. 50 minutes of your time, seriously. If you're listed and not getting a lot of action, price may not be your issue. This is really important. I've said this over the past few months. Please take note of this. Many areas. I purposefully look at many areas of the GTA. East, west, north, the whole bit. Central. There are areas where homes that are significantly cheaper, across the street, down the street, that still have not sold. So naturally, if that was happening and no one knew this and no one followed the numbers like I do, the listing agent could tell the seller, oh, listen, we need to lower the price. That's how we're going to sell. The seller will then rightly, if he knows this or just has common sense, will say, wait a second, I appreciate what you're saying, but the guy down the street is significantly lower than we are right now, and he hasn't sold, and that guy also hasn't sold. So I'm not sure if price is the issue. You're right. Price may not be the issue. Sometimes it is. Some sellers right now are completely unrealistic and think they're still back at 22, 21 prices. They're not. You guys saw the graph. But the price is not always the thing. Check. If you're on the end market and you're not listed with me, it's okay. You can contact me. I can't contact you. But have your agent send you the information. Hey, what's been selling this month in your area? What are the stats? What are the prices? You might notice that the only thing it's selling is really, really cheap stuff, or maybe, God forbid, but it happens, nothing is selling at all in that specific area. In which case, listen, at least you know it's not the price. Okay? Questions? As always, guys, I want to be helpful to you. I don't want to be too hard on you buyers. Forgive me if I am. But listen, I'm out. I'm looking for buyers right now, not because I desperately want a lot of sales. I want to work with buyers because I want them to know this. There's a lot of opportunity out there, not only getting something at a good price and get the pick of the litter, but you're also helping a seller, who then is going to be able to buy the next up, and the next up, the next up. If you're a first-time home buyer, there are so many condos, new, sometimes new, old, you pick it, that are available right now for very good prices. There is stuff being sold under original purchase price, unfortunately, for the sellers. But buyers, listen, a lot of opportunity out there. You have questions about specific areas, whatever, listen, 15 minutes. Click on the calendar link. We can have a chat. No pressure whatsoever. So always providing valuable information. Hit like and subscribe. Hit the bell. You'll get these at least once a month from the GTA wide. And of course, QR code, My Real Estate Experience. Andrew the Realtor, thanking you for your time. Sorry if it was a little hard on you, but listen, I love you. Have a fantastic rest of the month. I'll see you in October.